that means you're okay with being mediocre. Ain't no man in here okay with being just basic. So let's do what we do.
What's good with y'all, man? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Trevor Jackson podcast. This one we'll be talking about diversion, like things that's in your way, things that may be taking you off track, things that you're consuming, listening to, that is of no value to you, your purpose, or where you're going. And I know last week we did a 3-part episode, The Culture Uncensored. And I probably mentioned Diddy's name 1,000 times in those 3 episodes. But that's not who I really am. I really don't like talking about one person that much. We're going to not mention him on this episode, period. That's a diversion. That's part of the diversion, to keep you from paying attention to what you need to pay attention to. This thing that's happening on the 8th, the eclipse or whatever it's called, is to have you in fear. The New York or the New Jersey earthquake, it's a diversion. So you can put your attention on fear, put your attention on that, instead of putting your attention on what you really need to. The art of diversion. It's an art, man. But let's get into the topics of this episode. I'm going to break it down, what we're going to be talking about. And, you know what I mean? We're going to get into the discussion. Most definitely, we're going to be talking about the J. Cole album, the J. Cole response, and my perception of it. Before I get into it, I want to say that I see a lot of content creators that jump the gun so y'all can trigger the algorithm, so y'all can get views and likes. It was released at midnight last night, the album or the project or whatever it's called nowadays. And when it was released, I didn't even listen to the whole project, and people had videos out critiquing, talking about the diss song, and giving their perspective on things so they can trigger the algorithm to get paid and get views and likes. I think that's, you know what I mean? I think that's like lame, dog. For real, I could have did the same thing. I could have, right when it came out, listened to it and been recording myself listening to it and drop to trigger the algorithm. But we got integrity over here. We want to give a different view, a different perspective. We want to listen to it multiple times before we give an opinion. The same thing when Diddy home got raided. I said his name already. I didn't jump on the camera and give a perspective of what I thought about immediately. Sometimes you got to let the things play out, man, and quit being a sucker to the algorithm. Real talk. But we're going to talk about Kid Cudi was on the GOAT show on Complex, and he said who his GOAT was. And I want to know y'all opinion about GOATs, and is being a GOAT or being the greatest of all time subjective. Also, I want to talk about a book that I've read that caught my attention by Thomas Sowell. We're going to get into that book. We're going to get into some commentary. Lil Bootsy talked about with Playboy Cardi wearing a thong. I also want to talk about some poll results that I put out about some artists on this YouTube channel. And we're just going to get into it, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.
I might get bashed for this first topic, but I really don't care, though, because I feel like it's some game. And I feel like a lot of people have been emotional, living in their feelings, and caring about things more than they care about themselves. They value other people's perception of them more than they value themselves. Just think about that for a minute. That means your look, your finances, how people perceive you. You care about that more than you care about yourself, because you wouldn't act emotional if you didn't. If you even got beat up by somebody, You don't even have to come back and retaliate because that is their problem that they're dealing with. You don't have to inherit other people's problems. Now, me talking about this, I heard somebody give a perspective that's famous about this. And when he was mentioning it, I was saying that I got to play this for the La Familia on the show because people need to hear this, man. And in the comment section, I want to know y'all perspective about this because is this true? Is this cap? Do you have to retaliate? Do you have to defend yourself? Do you have to like be offended when somebody say something to you? Do you like giving people power over you? Let's listen to it.
A lot of niggas who think they gangsters is really emotional niggas. They really like niggas who be in their feelings. If you mad at a nigga enough to want to shoot him, that's an emotional thing. That's very emotional. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a very emotional thing. Like, I can't even care about no nigga. Like, with my mindset of how I'm trying to teach out, I can't even care about a nigga enough to want to harm him and risk going to jail. I'm too valuable for that. You know what I'm saying? The world too big for me to risk my life going to jail for a nigga who is one person, one little dot in this whole big ass universe. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to be around this person. You don't have to fuck with this person, but you never want to take yourself out the game for a lane. A nigga who talking, who just emotionally charged. A nigga who just having a wild, nigga who might be slow. You might be at the club arguing with the slow nigga from the other hood because he did some dumb shit and you just let that take you. You understanding on manhood and you end up going to jail for smoking a slow nigga. And you was a whole king to your hood. It's that fast. It's that easy because you get caught up in fast emotions. And when you realize that's a woman trait more than a man trait, you bag about that shit. I'm 43 now, so you can't get me out of character, nigga.
Had to salute him on that because, like, even though he said some things that localized the conversation, it minimized it, I agree with everything that he said. Me, personally, I feel like it's big. It's bigger than that. We can be disgruntled with people in political positions saying that they did this and did that. They just created a diversion and you fell for it. We can say that we don't like certain races or certain individuals, but you bigger than that. You got to value yourself. Once you create a value of self and create knowledge of self, then things that people have to say about you, the way people view you, their POV of you doesn't even matter because you know who you are. Once you show that you're emotional to a situation, you're giving people power over yourself. And that's weak. Real talk. In any aspect of life, retaliation is weak. That's just my point of view. It's my point of view. You're hurt. You're in your feelings. You got to do something about it. You don't have to do anything because the action that other person showed doesn't deserve a reaction because your reaction is not valued. Over here, I value me, dog. I value me too much to react to the bullshit that you want me to react to. Sorry. Salute. Keep it moving. And I'm going to keep it moving. We got to do what we got to do, man. I like that by Slim Thug, man. Let me give him some more. Switching the topic, though. Now, I release content on YouTube. I was hearing DJ Vlad, like, bashing Shannon Sharp as of recently, talking about the Cat Williams interview and how it didn't make $50 million and $20 million, whatever $1 million that Shannon Sharp was promoting. He was promoting making flyers or whatever, or how many views. It's his #1 interview and all of that. He's proud of himself, Vlad. Quit hating, dog. But Vlad was breaking down some statistics about how the videos and things on YouTube don't pay and you don't make this much money that people are promoting that they make. But everybody got different deals and stuff. I release content on YouTube frequently, weekly, maybe daily now, breaking down the skits. But YouTube is a great platform to me because it can get you seen all over the globe. It's the biggest platform. People complain about the pay scale. People don't understand or have the knowledge to know why the pay scale is what it is and why it's like that. And I'm here to break it down for y'all. And before I break it down for y'all, I just want y'all to know that I appreciate YouTube, real talk.
Network, which no one really understands because no one's ever owned the television network, is how you get paid. It's through CPMs. It's ads. It's clicks per million, which means clicks per thousand, really. And usually a third party will take 90% of your CPM. So when a commercial plays, like YouTube in front of your content, $30 might get made, but you only get $2 of it. That's why artists go platinum in digital and only make $4,000. That's why Snoop Dogg gets 1 billion streams and only makes 40 grand. But money was made. We just don't get it because we don't understand the language. Exactly. So people aren't even conscious of how they pay out at YouTube or Tubi or any of those things. So what I did was, because I was like, I'm not a herd, especially if he's over there, it's not right. So I use YouTube for marketing, but I went and built my own network. And let's say YouTube gets the ad. Does it make sense to get a million views and only make $7,000? That don't make no sense. So that means that if you, the way that I'm seeing things, if any dollar anyone makes at YouTube, if you were really getting paid what you're supposed to, you would be making 100 times more, 100x, not 10x, 100x. So no one teaches us about the ads. They're just teaching us about how it feels to understand when people are viewing you and it feels good. And that takes the place of the money that you're supposed to be making. The fame it gives you, and no one's asking about why they're not getting no money.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.
Dame Dash is right in all aspects and everything that he said, to be honest with y'all. But we got, before I further the discussion, I'm going to put me in the seat of the creator of YouTube. I want y'all to do the same thing and tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong in this. So I understand the free market. I understand capitalism in America. I understand profit for creation. I created this platform. Biggest platform in the world. It's bigger than the people that's on the platform. You might not agree, but it's bigger than the people that's on the platform. And we always felt like this. At the end of the day, we felt like we was bigger than the people. So my platform blow up. And the ads come to me. The ads are coming to me. The people may deserve more because they're bringing the people to my platform. They may deserve more. But why should I care at the end of the day? Because my platform is bigger than the people. That's how I feel. So you can't be disgruntled when they pay you a certain amount, 70% of a penny per stream. Less than that, like it's 7% of a penny per stream. So you can't be mad when they are doing that because it's their platform. You don't have to upload here. Go create your own and make it bigger than us. You're capable of it. You can do it. But at the end of the day, if you want to profit from these platforms, you got to be able to make it work for you. You got to be able to use every last platform and make it work for you. TikTok has a monetization scale now. YouTube has a monetization scale. Instagram, you can monetize. All of these platforms you can monetize on because you're drawing traffic to their thing. But people, once they start drawing traffic to these platforms, they expect to make a certain amount of money when that's not true. Because if you was in the position of the owner and the people that in this open public traded company, you'll do the same thing. But you're complaining about it because you're not in the position of those people at the moment. And that's what Dame Dash doing. But at the end of the day, he gave the game. People needed to hear that. People needed to understand that, because I don't think that a lot of people know that about cost per million, about how the ads work. When they put an ad up on my show, it's not my ad, it's YouTube's ad, and they just sharing it with me. So if I want my own ads, if I want Budweiser to come to my platform, then I will create my own platform. I'll create my own app, and then all the money can go to me. But that's what he did, and he realized what happened and how it happened, and he came back and shared the game with us, and I salute Dame Dash for that. You know, I was thinking about getting some tattoos recently on my hand, on the inside of my hand right here, like that, say discipline, and like just staying disciplined. And another word to make me remember that I need to be determined, disciplined. It was another one with a D. I can't think right now because I'm off the 19 Crimes, red wine. But I felt that way, that I need to get those tattoos to see that all the time because of the art of diversion. There's people that is creating things to keep us away from building and growing and creating the life that we truly want, because we're constantly consuming, reading, watching movies, looking at content that doesn't value us. Now, LeBron James and my boy from Duke, JJ Redick, has created a podcast as of recently. And it's dope too. They on episode 3 right now. And I'm glad to see LeBron James in the podcast space. I'm glad too, because it's a therapeutic thing. And he's on his podcast sipping wine, having the basketball conversations. And I want to salute LeBron James for something. People always compare him to Michael Jordan for his greatness and on the basketball court. LeBron James is one of the greatest of all time, but to me, it's still Mike on the basketball court. But I want to salute him for his marketing skills, his making sure that the talent is being paid, making sure that the talent has the power over the owners, and they're able to come and go from team to team and do whatever they want to and get the bag. I salute that. He created that. He's the man also that never got in trouble. Like, he's a clean guy. But I don't know why that is or whatever. I ain't saying that somebody had something to do with that. He brought his brothers along with him, Rich Paul and the other guy that's on the Uninterrupted Network channel with him. I forgot his name though, but he brought his people from high school along with him to become successful. So I salute that. But the topic I want to talk about is the tattoo that I was wanting to get on my hand about discipline. He broke something down about if you want to be successful. It's longer than this clip too, so I suggest y'all go watch the podcast with him and JJ Redick, episode 2. And when he talked about discipline and achieving things, and how serious you got to be if you want to get to where you want to go.
Discipline. People, you know what? People use that word so loosely.
What does it mean to you?
You have to have the ability, when it comes to discipline, it's like you have to sacrifice loved ones. You have to sacrifice loved ones for a long period of time if you want to be great. It is very unfortunate, and you feel it at times. You know the saying: if it's too hot, get the hell out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta get out of the kitchen because it gets hot. But you have to have a discipline to sometimes you have to sacrifice loved ones in order to be great because they don't understand.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.
The Puff Daddy situation. Offset was on Shannon Sharp's show talking about hip hop and talking about the Migos and how he could see him and Quavo doing an album together. And he mentioned something about the decline. I'm going to play the clip before I get too deep into it, but the decline of hip-hop. Is hip-hop declining? That's what Shannon Sharp asked him. Is hip-hop declining? Now, my take of that, I will give it to y'all after I play the clip.
You don't believe hip-hop is declining?
I don't believe so. Not while I'm in it. What the hell I look like saying it's declining right now? I'm in it. No, sir. And it's way more rich black folks off of hip-hop
that made it
ever.
Right.
It ain't never been no execs in the buildings like it is now. It's black execs in the buildings, like in the label buildings, making decisions more than it's ever been. And we still run the culture. And then if you still look up the quotas, people just be talking. If you still look up the quotas that they make, that they label make, ask somebody that, next time you interview somebody like that's in the music business, an exec, ask them where that money come from. Pop, country, or hip-hop. At the end of the quarters, it's hip-hop. Because hip-hop is coming so much. It's flooding the market.
You know, I did a podcast when Nelly said that the biggest genre, the biggest era of hip-hop was his era. And I agree with him. That was a great financial era. The numbers was inflated. The 12s, the 10s, the 8 million, the 5 million, the 5 million copies being sold, albums. And it was money being made hand over fist. When I think about it in totality now, it's more artists, it's more people, and it's more people doing numbers. They might not be doing the numbers that they was doing then, now, but when I look at the trajectory of hip-hop in a financial state, you see idiots running around here with millions of dollars. No disrespect to y'all, but you see people that they're not displaying talent. They're displaying foolishness, and they're filthy rich. And we're going to talk about that too. They're getting paid, but they don't know the benefits of what they're involved in. They don't understand contracts. They are just in a weird space though, but it's plenty of money in this thing. People complain about the streams. I talked about Dame Dash, talking about YouTube, but people complain about the distribution. You know, if you're an artist right now, and you may know this already. A lot of people know this already. But you can go to CD Baby, United Masters, DistroKid, and you can have distribution, and your music can be played worldwide, and you can get paid. I've seen some checks from some young boys that was outstanding. And in my era, distribution was hard, man. It was hard. I remember I felt like I went platinum in my own hometown. And by selling 4,000 copies, back then that was $40,000 times 10, $10 a piece. That's 40 racks. That's platinum to me in your hometown when people dislike you just for being you. Now, it's easier and simpler now to make money. And these platforms create convenience. That's the key word. They create convenience for you, so we don't have to pay you as much. But hip hop is not in decline. You just gotta be hot enough to be able to profit from it. That's just my perception of it. Now, I'm gonna play my song of the week, man. We're gonna get into another conversation when I come back. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in.
If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing. I had to get me something. I came up from nothing. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing. I had to get me something. I came up from nothing. I had to change my mental, upgrade my credentials. How a nigga came up, it wasn't accidental. Now monumental, more like legendary. A player never worry, bumping pop, Hail Mary. Burberry trapped off a Blackberry, and contrary to your belief, I made it out them streets. Don't acknowledge beef, kept the play discreet. We too unique on the winning streak. Spent a couple racks at the boutique. I wouldn't change nothing, I'm always me. Never took a plea, nigga, you a flea. I'm your OG's OG. He called me for inspiration. Need a consultation, just make the payment for the conversation. If it's elevation or innovation, my expectation ain't limitation. You need a demonstration. My track record and reputation should be admiration. That's confirmation. I'm decoration for the trenches, off the benches, jump the fences, no penny pinching. We off the hinges. Hit the shot, my team winning. The series clinching. You niggas finished. Never timid. I've been a menace. No old dog, and every day is printed. Haters living 'cause my life changed. Should be happy, but you a real lame. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing. I had to get me something. I came up from nothing. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing. I had to get me something. I came up from nothing.
My lifestyle been kind of wild. Grew up real foul, but mama proud. Man, go check that record out, man. It's streaming on all platforms. Real spill. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all if y'all support the channel, man. If you ever, where is that? Donate it to the Cash App down there. I appreciate y'all, man. If y'all ever hit the super chat and donate it, thank you. Salute. Now, if you're listening to the audio version on this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, salute to y'all too. But come over to YouTube to see the visuals. I know I was uploading the visuals on Spotify for a while, but that will no longer be because I want y'all to come to one place for the visuals. Come to YouTube for the visuals. Now we're about to get into this J. Cole conversation. The 7-minute drill. I just want to address the diss track. I'm going to give y'all my perception of the album and everything. The album was fire to me. It was fire. It was fire. We're going to get into the polls and all of that type of stuff, though. But I want to tell y'all how strategic these individuals are, because people will put out their perception of the record and all of that type of stuff, but they won't go into the strategy. So the 7-minute drill, what is that? That's a military term. But before he released this record 3 years ago, he sat down and had a conversation with 21 Savage. They did an interview before his off-season record came out. And the conversation was dope, though, because he mentioned the 7-minute drill in that.
Yo, do you really want to look back 10, 20 years from now with this music shit and be like, the reason you didn't make it in music is because you ain't put in the work? So I was like, fuck it. That was where the warm-up came from. Every day, nigga, I woke up, wrote verses, made beats. So, and so all that to say, the off season was like the same concept. Like, one more time before I leave, like before I feel like I'm like fulfilled in this game, let me try to reach new heights from a skill level standpoint. Remember I told you about the 7-minute drill? Mm-hmm. Like, I put myself through drills. I really try to work on my craft to like just reach new heights and push myself. So that's why I call it the off season. I know.
Back to the art of diversion. He created a drill. He created a structure so he can stay on path and not deteriorate off a path. Salute to that. Salute to that. It's some type of structure you got to create to be able to be successful. Real talk, dog. In any aspect of life. If it don't have to be just hip hop. It don't have to be a health regimen. It has to be, if you want to achieve something or a goal or something, you got to stay consistent at something. Something. It's challenging for me to do these podcasts every weekend when I want to do something else. And it takes me 3 to 5 days to curate these things. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. But on this channel also, I put up a couple of polls. The one was talking about the big three. I'm going to give y'all the results. And I'm going to read out the results of the polls and give y'all my perception of how y'all voted. So many of y'all voted too. A lot of y'all voted. Thank y'all. A lot of y'all don't even tune into the shows. I know I release a lot. The main shows, they do good numbers, man. But I be wanting y'all to tune in to everything though. But I understand people got jobs and responsibility, and I don't want to be your diversion. I want you to know that I appreciate you when you come through, comment, chop it up with me, talk to me. Let's further the discussion, man. But this was the first poll I wanted to talk about. So the big three. Who's the best lyricist out of the big three? Kendrick, J. Cole, or Drake? So Kendrick Lamar got 42%. J. Cole got 47%. And Drake got 10% out of 569 votes. That's a lot of votes, dog. 569 votes is a lot of votes. But what's intriguing to me is that J. Cole was the winner and Drake only got 10%. Drake is a great artist. He make great music, but he's not a lyricist. He don't make me think. He don't make me want to try to understand what he's talking about and where he's trying to go. And a lot of people don't even really like lyrics. It's noticeable. People really don't engage in true hip hop. That's interesting right there. People don't really want to engage in true hip hop. Think about yourself for a minute. What you like the most about hip hop, and is lyrics in it? I would think not. I would think 95% of the people that heard me say that thought about that and said lyrics isn't one of my favorite things about hip hop. But me personally, lyrics and deciphering lyrics and try to understand double entendres and triple entendres and meaning of what they're saying and where they're trying to take it to is my favorite thing about hip hop. The bass line isn't my favorite thing. The energy, the hypeness isn't my favorite thing. The whatever isn't my favorite thing. Lyrics is my favorite thing. So that's interesting that Drake was last, but he is the artist that the people like the most, that the people listen to the most, that does the biggest numbers. But lyrics, he's last when it comes to the top three artists. So Cole being the number one artist, but the least selling. Lyrics, again, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Now let's get into the second poll. The second poll, which is the best album so far in 2024? 21 Savage, American Dream, Ye and Ty Dolla $ign, Vultures, Future and Metro Boomin, We Don't Trust You, J. Cole, Might Delete Later. Look at those numbers, y'all, if y'all can see that. If y'all watching on your phone or your television, or if you listen to the audio version, man, YouTube is free. You can come over here and check it out. TrevorJacksonT.V. But look at those numbers. 47% J. Cole, 35% Future and Metro, 9% Ye and Ty Dolla $ign, 9% 21 Savage, American Dream. So people have like a complex when it comes to what's new to them, what's the music to feel like they familiar with it, like it just dropped. You know what I mean? That music just dropped. It's Cole is winning because of the hype of right now, not because it's the best. Even though probably, let me quit capping, it probably is the best out of those four. But all of those was fire though. I thought that the poll would be a little bit closer though. But for me, J. Cole album is the best. That's for real. It's the best. And I only done had it for 2 days. The Future and Metro is what I like to hear though. I will listen to that, and I like the way Future brings it, and he's fly and he's fresh and he's talking about all these things though. But lyrically, Future can't hold a candle to J. Cole, period. But most people don't care about lyrics. We just broke that down. What's your favorite thing about hip hop? Put that in the comment section before we further on. What's your favorite thing about hip hop? Now we're going to get into something that might be blasphemous to some. Because I know on my channel, New York City, the mecca of hip hop, is the people who listen and look at my podcast the most. Salute to y'all. Give y'all some hand claps. Thank y'all. So I was listening to a DJ Academics live stream. I rock with Academics, man. He's funny, he's entertaining, and he be talking reckless. But he said something that caught my attention now. Notorious Big is a great lyricist. He's a phenomenal artist. He was a transformational artist. He made being big look cool. Him and Big Pun made being heavyset guys look cool. Because they could rap too. They really could rap. They was skilled at what they did. But back to academics and what he had to say. I need to know y'all perception about this, especially my people from up top. You know, y'all folk from up top, y'all love us in North Carolina, man. Y'all, it's more y'all down here than it is people from this place. I'm not from either New York or North Carolina, but I noticed that the New Yorkers has invaded North Carolina. Real talk, this is New Carolina, if you want to say it like that or whatever. But what's your perception of this?
So when I say, yo, did Diddy touch Biggie? I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually believe Biggie was bisexual. So, but that's an act thought. That's not no proven fact. I think Biggie was bisexual too. Put it like this: there was too many people surrounding Biggie that love men for him not to be gay too. You know why? His DJ Mr. C was transsexuals. Diddy was having free call for niggas. And he talking about people look so good, he sucked their dad. What you want me to conclude? What you want me to conclude? I just say I just don't have no full details yet.
Oh God, that was wild. Act. Biggie is bisexual. That was a wild take. Act. That was wild, big wild. Pause. But he didn't lie. Biggie's DJ, Mr. C. We know the allegations. I'm not going to take it any further. We know the allegation. It wasn't no, let me stop. It wasn't no allegations. It was charges. He was charged with doing what he was doing in those alleys. Diddy. It's allegations right now, but we know. The things that Biggie said, giving fellatio to your father because you so cute. He said a lot of things that went over people's head that they just thought that's hard. I like that boy. That's hard. I'm in agreement to that. I don't want to say nothing about a dead man in a negative light, but that's interesting. That's really interesting. Now let's get into another topic of discussion. What I got to pull up. Let's stay in that realm of fruit behavior.
The boy just put a thong on. Playboy Cardi. He put a thong up his bro. You mean to tell me a man can put a thong up his and not think about being a female? You thought about being a woman. Did you see him with those piercings and put a thong up his? If you mean to tell me a man can put a thong up his and still feel like a man? Man, if you wore a thong, you thought about getting inserted. Playboy Cardi stuck a thong up his see-through. A thong up your a string. And he out saying he didn't have no female intention. And made sure you seen it. He sagged it. He sagged it. So you can see the thong penetrating his like a toothpick in the mouth. Playboy Cardi, I mean, why would you do that? Your baby mama is, I don't understand it, bro. He must have got jealous of his baby mama. Man, what's the girl name? The white girl, Iggy. Iggy is beautiful with a thong on. Did you get mad and go into competition?
Hey, man. When that was going on also, he was going to the studio with Ye. That's spooky, Ye. Because we salute Ye. And the crazy things or whatever that he do. But this generation, like, of youth for individuals, I don't even think that they're homosexual. I think that they do things for attention. Attention is the new form of currency. Attention is a drug. If you're not getting attention, you feel low. If you are getting attention, you feel like you're on a high. Attention is the new form of currency. When I think about Young Thug, I don't assume that he was engaging in the behavior that would require him to wear a dress. He wore dresses. Lil Baby just had a fallout in a conversation because he wore fingernails polish. Drake wearing fingernail polish. Kid Cudi wearing skirts, dress, kilts all the time. People do things for attention, and it's coming to a point to where you're not going to get attention for that. That's noticeable by Lil Nas X. You're not going to get attention for that no more because we don't care. As a people, we're not. That's not no shock value no more that you wore a dress or you mocking the God and mocking the devil and all of that. We don't care no more. We're living in the end times, to be honest with y'all. And I know y'all heard that your whole life, but we're living in unprecedented times, and it's crazy that the things that people will do to get attention, because attention is monetization. You know, me doing this podcast, I'm trying to capture y'all attention, but in a healthy way. So y'all won't be caught up with the artists who are trying to divert y'all from your goals and the things that you want to achieve. Real spill. What y'all think about people promoting homosexuality who is not homosexual? That's interesting to me. Now we're gonna get into another topic. One more of these foolish topics before I get into the education. Play a little bit more music and get into the education. I want to talk about Bronny James declaring for the NBA. I had a year with some ups and downs, but all added to growth for me as a man, student and athlete. I made the decision to enter the NBA draft while maintaining my college eligibility and will also be entering the NCAA transfer portal. Thank you to USC for an amazing freshman year. And as always, thankful for my family, friends, doctors, athletes, trainers, and fans for their support. What did he average in the McDonald's All-American game? I need to see that. Like, Bronny James is the definition of Bronny James is the definition of getting put in position. He's the American dream. Like, when you can put your family members in position, you should, for them to win and for them to show out and be successful. You should. He shined. Okay. So, hold on. I don't want no audio to play. I'm trying to see his stats. Okay. So he was 5 of 8 from the 3, 15 points with 4 assists, and his team lost. Okay. They said it was a competitive game or whatever. Yeah, I feel like, to be honest with y'all, Bronny should go to Duke or come over to the East Coast and play basketball. He shouldn't go to the NBA. He's not ready. My opinion. The point guard position, or the size he is point guard, is the toughest position in the league. I know his father will put him in position and everything, though, but he's not ready. That's just my point of view. He's not ready. Now, I'm going to talk about this interview on Lex Fridman's podcast, but before I get to that, I want to tell y'all thank y'all for tuning into the show, man. Thank y'all. And make sure that you watch the next episode. Is going to be my reaction to the J. Cole album. It's going to be a fire reaction. I'm just here to tell y'all it's going to be fire. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about this Lex Fridman interview, and Mark Cuban was on there, right? So I think about things in business. I talked about how I was talking to one of my partners that's 51 years old, and we talked about evolving in life. Because in life, if you're not evolving, you're dying. It's either up, down, ain't no in between. And I heard Mark Cuban talk about algorithms. What is an algorithm? It's not just computerized, because it may be something that's digital, but somebody in the physical controls it.
The person who controls the algorithm controls the world, right? And if you are committed to one specific platform as your singular source of information or affiliated platforms, then whoever controls the algorithm or the programming there controls you.
Think about that for a minute. Let that ponder. Whoever controls the algorithm of those singular platforms controls you. So they control what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you feel. You know, we learn in all of those aspects that I just mentioned: see, taste, feel, hear, smell. Who controls the algorithm at your place of employment? Who controls the algorithm of YouTube? Who controls the algorithm of that streaming service that you want to be successful in? Because a lot of financial structures are algorithm based. If you're an Uber driver, who controls that algorithm that's allowing certain drivers to get those high priced clients that's ordering the crazy stuff while you're doing the drives down the street or whatever? It's interesting. It's interesting. Who controls the algorithm controls you. I don't like being controlled, so I got to find out who controls the algorithm. Real talk, in those areas of my life. Now, this is another clip from that interview that he's had something to say about business and entrepreneurship. Now, before I play this clip, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I see a lot of y'all out there that claim to be entrepreneurs, but you working a job to fund your dream. Nothing's wrong with that, but quit lying to people, saying that you entrepreneurs when you clocking in every day. A real entrepreneur is taking a leap of faith. And if he can't obtain the money that he want to obtain in his entrepreneurship, he ain't clocking in nowhere, big dog.
So you're the perfect person to ask, what makes a great entrepreneur?
Somebody who's curious. They want to keep on learning because business is ever changing. It's never static. Somebody who's agile, because as you learn new things and the environment around you changes, you have to be able to adapt and make the changes. And somebody who can sell, because no business has ever survived without sales. And as an entrepreneur who's creating a company, whatever your product or service is, if that's not the most important thing and you're just dying and excited to tell people about it, then you're not going to succeed.
But it's also a skill thing. How do you sell? What do you mean by selling?
Selling is just helping. I've always looked at it about putting myself in the shoes of another person and asking a simple question. Can I